It's your man JayGravesReport, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Preview, Week 7, presented by your good neighbor State Farm agent, Ravi R. Murray, located 3955 Eagle Creek Parkway, Indianapolis, or hit your boy up at 317-297-3804. So y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Previewing the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, we got the first ball game. We're going down to the ACC. We got North Carolina State going out to Death Valley to play number 3 Clemson. Now, the reason I put this ball game in the top 5, not because NC State worked too dead fly smash. They 4-1. They started the season off 4-1, but it's all smoke and mirrors, bro. It looked good on paper, but it's all smoke and mirrors. These duns averaging 34 points a game, putting up 443 in terms of yards. Clemson is averaging 38 points a game, putting up 470 yards. Here's the deal. This is the reason why it's all smoke and mirrors. NC State comes into this ball game after a huge win over Notre Dame. They look good on paper. But the Leprechaun can't swim. They went down to North Carolina State, played in the monsoon the other night. They still looking for the Leprechaun. They have found his pointed toe shoes and his hat, but they can't find that done. So now, North Carolina comes into this ball game with all kind of confidence, think they can go in and play with these boys from Clemson, and they going to run into a buzzsaw down at Death Valley. Now, here's the deal. Deshaun Watson is running this program. They're coming off of a huge win, blowout win, 56-10, beating Boston College last week. They had 3 plays in the first quarter of 40 yards or more for touchdowns. So their confidence is going through the roof. Last year in this ball game, neither one of these teams played any defense. It was 56-41 Clemson at North Carolina State. So North Carolina State come in with all kind of confidence because they beat Notre Dame, but they about to fire Brian Kelly up there. They looking to run that done out of town. They won't give him no props, all the players trying to rally around him. His problems up in Notre Dame, especially when you can't find a leprechaun. So now, I want everybody, when they're watching this ball game this weekend, to keep your eye on Deion Kane. Now, this cat is a wide receiver at Clemson. He's only got 13 catches. But after 13 catches, 6 of them been for touchdown. This kid's the real deal. He like magic right now. So I'm going with Clemson to beat the brakes off North Carolina, bring these boys back down to earth so we can move on to the next ball game. Now, let's go to the next ball game. We got Wake Forest. We're going to stay in the ACC. We got Wake Forest coming in to play number 14, Florida State, down at Doak Campbell. Now, here's the deal. Again, this is another one that's smoking mid. Wake Forest comes into this ball game 5-1. Look like they the real deal. But look who they played, though, bro. They played Tulane, Duke, Delaware, Indiana. They lost to North Carolina State, and then they beat Syracuse. So even though they 5-1, it's dubs. Don't even worry about it. Now, Florida State is coming off a huge win. These boys went down and beat the U down in Miami last weekend. So now their confidence is on skyrocketed. They back together. Even though they've lost 2 ball games in the ACC, they trying to get it back together. Now, they won the last 4 ball games in this series. So their confidence is through the roof. They know they can beat these boys. They got to bye next week, and then they go out and play Clemson. So if they can come into this ball game, put in work against these boys, and they got to go back down to Miami this weekend and get Chief Osceola out of jail. That done got in a fight with Sebastian the Ibis last weekend after the game. You know, Sebastian got that Miami U swag. He out there trying to holler at Osceola's girlfriend, and they got in a fight, and that dude's still in jail. Hey, get these boys together. Hey, I need all the Florida State Seminoles, put the money together, get that boy out of jail, because he out there struggling right now. You know, he can't be down in Miami after you beat up Sebastian. You can't be down there in jail. They going to work on Osceola right now. So y'all want to go get that done out of jail for this weekend. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we're going down to the SEC. We got number 12, Ole Miss, goes down to play number 22, Arkansas in Fayetteville. Now, Ole Miss is coming off of a bye. Now, I know y'all saw on the news last week, Doug Chad Kelly, starting quarterback for Ole Miss, went back to the crib the week before because they had a bye, and this done got into a fight at a football game, at a high school football game, because his brother was getting beat up. Dude, how you run out on the field in a high school football game and you a superstar in the college football playing at Ole Miss? Duh, he must have had on the doggone Jeremy Tunsil gas mask, wasn't even thinking out there. Dude, what are you thinking about? You embarrassed the program, embarrassed yourself, embarrassed your family, let everybody know your brother can't defend himself. Hey, now, let's look at this. Ole Miss is coming into this ball game averaging 41 points a game, putting up 490 yards a game. Here's the problem that Ole Miss runs into. They played 4 or 5 ball games already, but they haven't played a true road game yet. They had the neutral site game when they played Florida State beginning of the season, and then they played 4 home games. So this is the first time they're actually going on the road, and they got to go out here and play against Arkansas, who got drugged up and down the field against Alabama last week. So these boys dangerous up, like the old time used to say, stuck your hand in a hornet's nest. These boys upset. Now, here's the deal. Arkansas won the last 2 ball games they played. They beat them, they blasted them 2 years ago, 30-0. They blasted Ole Miss 30-0. Now, last year, they went into overtime, barely got out of there alive, 53-52. So I'm going to give the edge to Arkansas coming into this ball game because they playing at the crib. They beat them 2 years in a row. And Chad Kelly done right now. He run around here with the gas mask on, not making good decisions. So I'm going with Arkansas to win this ball game. Let's move on to the Big Ten, bruh. We got a huge one up at Camp Randall this weekend. We got number 2, Ohio State, goes out to play number 8, Wisconsin. Now, Ohio State comes into this ball game averaging 53 points a game, putting up 537 yards a game, whereas Wisconsin is only averaging 26 points a game, putting up 360 yards a game. Now, Ohio State is coming off of a decent win last weekend. They was dubbed to some degree. They won by 21 points, 38-17 over IU, Indiana. However, Indiana held J.T. Barrett in check in the air. He only had 93 yards passing on 9 of 21. So they forced him to run the football 26 times for 137 yards. Here's the problem in this ball game. Even though Wisconsin doesn't score a lot of points, only 26 points, their defense is the real deal. They're only allowing 90 yards a game on the ground, and they're giving up 201 in the air. So at this point, they're going to force J.T. Barrett to throw the football because they're not giving up but 90 yards on the ground. They ain't going to let him run it. But here's the deal. Even though Wisconsin's defense is the real deal, even if they keep these boys at half their production at Ohio State, they still going to score 27 points. These boys from Wisconsin don't have a prolific offense. They only averaging 26 points a game. And Ohio State's defense is the real deal, even though they're young. So they're not going to get to their average of scoring 26 points a game. And even if they keep these boys from scoring, keep them at half their average, they're not going to win the ball game. Because you're not going to keep Ohio State from scoring 27 points. Just not going to happen. Whether they get it on the ground, get it on the air, etc. So I'm going with Ohio State to win this ball game on the road. And let's move on to the next ball game. We got number 1, Alabama. Going down to play number 9, Tennessee. Now, here's the deal. Alabama comes into this ball game averaging 44 points a game, putting up 489 in terms of yards. Tennessee is averaging 33 points a game and 432 in terms of yards. Alabama's won 9 straight in this series. So are we really going to talk about it? And here's the problem with Tennessee. Tennessee has one of the best teams in America. They've only lost 1 ball game. They lost at Texas A&M last weekend. Like I told you, boys starting off games slow. They get in the hole and then they come roaring back. Well, against better teams, you can't get in the hole in the first place and roar back. They turned the ball over last week 7 times and still almost won the ball game. It was dub pick in overtime, cost them the ball game. But they shouldn't be in those situations in the first place. Let me break you down with the comebacks that Tennessee has had. They was down 17 at Georgia, and then they ended up winning on a Hail Mary. They was down 21-0 in the second quarter against Florida, came back and won that ball game. Down 14-0 against Virginia Tech, came back and won. Then, beginning of the season against Appalachian State, they were down 13-3 at halftime, came back and won. You can't keep playing on the edge, bruh, and think you're going to win ball games. The only slight chance they got of winning this weekend is the fact that they playing in Neyland Stadium. You got 108,000 people there. They at the crib, but it's Alabama. So if they get down 10 points, they're not coming back, bruh. Nick Saban's not letting the boy come back. He gonna pass out on the sideline before he let the boy come back. Hey, it's your man Jay Graves Report for TheJayGravesReport.com. You can hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport so you can holler at your boy. And remember, this segment is always presented by your good neighbor State Farm agent, Robbie R. Murray, located 3955 Eagle Creek Parkway, Indianapolis, or hit your boy up at 317-297-3804 so you can holler at your boy.